You are looking at the new for 2024 BUL Armory EDC. This is an update and replacement to the 4¼ inch tack model from the previous years that we've reviewed. Coming up, you'll see absolute first shots through the gun from 2 different shooters. We'll do full magazine +1. Take it over to the what's for dinner table to see what it eats. The spinner for sights and trigger control. Then some practical accuracy before giving you our concluding thoughts from 2 different shooters. Coming up next on GBGuns. Cold shots, we are 25 yards away from a C-zone reduced piece of steel. 10 rounds of Browning 115 grain, which in my test is exactly middle of the road. This feels slightly familiar because it's a lot like the gun that I carried for all of the winter and took to a couple training courses. There we go, had to redeem myself on the doubles. But you notice when I did hit, it was pretty much where I was hitting previously. Ignore that little guy on the side. Not my best first 10 rounds. I think I'm overly confident from being familiar with the platform and not focusing. These are also absolutely cold shots. Haven't shot in days. But very smooth, very controllable, very familiar feel. See what Tia thinks.
10 rounds, same distance. The trigger's excited to see me. I'm ready. That's super fun. I'm excited to get going.
That was one of the flattest in your hands guns that I've seen. And
really?
Folks, you guys don't know this, but Tia just drove how long?
Almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours straight to the range, and we turned on the cameras. There was no warm up here.
No,
so.
I mic'd up.
But these cold shots are about as close as it gets to, oh crap, drawing from concealment without that stress. That went pretty well. Next up, full magazine +1.
So I guess to get over my little bit of nervousness and my inherent flinching that I seem to have, let's run full mag +1.
And this is also that Browning ammunition. This is giving us a total of 19 rounds.
That was a hard flinch. That's a lot of rounds. I got smoked up and couldn't see anymore. It ran and it locked open. Sorry for the delay in the first shot.
No worries.
That's why I usually let Graham do that.
No issues running, which is the purpose of that test. Fully stuffed. And I had some other point I was going to say, but I got distracted by our noisy neighbors. Let's head over to what's for dinner. And it's what's for dinner time, thanks to our patron supporters, Ammo Squared supporters, and those of you using the links on our website to help us fund all of this. We've got 10 different loads we're going to run through the gun today. The point of this is to see what the gun will eat. Will it feed from slide lock? Will it cycle and feed another round of the same type? And will it lock open on empty? As we go past these, you notice we're going from 65 up to 165 grains today, with bullets of all different shapes, different overall lengths. We have a couple different case materials and projectile types. If you'd like to try any of this yourself, check the link in the pinned description. Over at gbgunsdepot.com, I will link to the stuff where I can find it. For what's for dinner, we are 7 yards back from some 2-inch circles. Not the finest aiming point, but they give us a general area to aim. And we're starting off with the lightest load, 65 grain Norma training frangible stuff. I've had poor results with this in other guns. It ran, it just didn't print nicely. See how the BUL does with it. Yeah, not the tightest group, but acceptable. And it ran, which is the purpose of this test. Next, stepping up to a whopping 70 grains, but snubby, is the Federal American Eagle Indoor Training Frangible lead-free stuff. Circle 2. significantly more recoil out of that. Circle 3, Blazer aluminum, 115 grain. We use aluminum steel for the same reason you guys do. It's cheaper. However, with aluminum and steel, you get higher friction between the cases in the magazine, going into and out of the chamber, as well as a different expansion and contraction rate, so some guns don't like them. Circle 3. No trouble with the BUL. Now 115 grain, Hornady American Gunner. It's a hollow point. I can't see the holes on that. Was that too fast? No? I think it's clean. This trigger just wants to run.
It does.
It's so ready. Stepping up to 124 grain now is the PMC SFX, the budget hollow point. And no issues so far. Now it's Tia's turn.
For Circle 6, we have the Federal Law Enforcement Premium Tactical HST. That trigger is so anxious. Next, we have Hornady's Critical Duty. Those are those, they have the pink eraser in them.
135 grain.
Circle 7.
Oh, we did not get slide lock.
Pleasant. Oh, we did not. You know, and it's too late to say so, but something didn't feel right in that last shot.
Is your safety on?
The safety is on.
Okay, now you can rock.
Okay. So I ride it a bit. Circle 8, yeah, that flustered me a little bit. The Syntec PCC by Federal.
130 grain.
Thumb on top of it this time.
Mm-hmm.
Those are nice.
And they always smell good.
They do. PPU Defense Line, these are 147 grain.
Oh, no slide lock again.
However, the safety is down. It's probably a me thing.
Maybe your thumb's dragging a little bit.
Probably. And these are the Stealth 158 grain?
65 grain.
65
165, super heavy. Stealth without an A, folks, because when your bullet's that heavy, you can't afford an A.
Okay, I'm not on anything. This is where my hand was when I finished.
Okay.
So.
Interesting. How about I'll run a couple rounds of each of those loads and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right. Keeping the exact same magazines that Tia tried with the exact same loads, I'm going to try the same. We'll see if it's a grip thing or maybe a mag thing or maybe an ammo thing. There's a lot of variables, but this is a logical way to reduce it and to attempt to redeem myself on the steel. Now that we're 35 yards away or so, maybe even 40 because it's an angle, I'm going to shoot the stuff, 2 rounds of each at the steel. This is the Federal 135 grain.
The Hornady Critical Duty.
Yes. Locked open. And that, folks, is what real distance sounds like on a video. You notice the delay between the shot and the impact. Not calling out other channels, but you know, just watch. All right, 147 grain. This will be subsonic, even slower, PPU. And it locked open.
I told you it was a me thing.
And the Ammo Inc. Stealth 165 grain. Okay, so it was probably Tia's grip. This is something that can happen on 1911s, especially with the more modern riding your thumbs high thing. It's also a fresh out of the box gun, so not entirely broken in. It may be that any contact that Tia's grip is making is just enough to rob it of that energy it needs, because obviously the gun is still cycling. It's something we'll just keep an eye on and is part of shooting a new gun for the first time. Now on to the spinner. You are looking at our 6-inch Titan Great Outdoors spinner target. Use this for sights and trigger control because it's a small target at distance, and as you hit it, it starts moving. Hence, you gotta time the shot. The better you hit it, the more often you hit it, the faster it moves, and the more critical timing a well-placed shot becomes. Got 8 rounds of that Browning 115 grain. See how we do here. That didn't go the best for me. We do have a couple factors going on here, like super intense sun coming from one spot and then shadow combined with the fiber optic sight. I think what was happening for me was my aim was off, and that was simply the result of a nice bright fiber optic green dot on a black dot rear, kind of blowing out my sight picture in this lighting situation. Same thing could happen if you're using a red dot, especially an auto adjust dot, and you're in the sun and your target's in the shade. But as you saw, I could get a rhythm very easily because the gun's very controllable, and that trigger is oh so ready that timing your shot takes just a thought.
We'll see.
Now Tia's up.
That trigger is that trigger is really nice. And I would love some more time with it. Sights didn't give me any problems. The quickness of the reset and the pull on the trigger is definitely where my shortcomings were. So it's doable, and I'm pretty confident that I could do it with this one, just not first time out the gate with it.
So it's just the trigger is shorter and lighter than you're used to?
Yeah, which is nice because it doesn't give me too much time to overthink. But because it was there and I was exhibiting a little bit more confidence than I have in the past, I was shooting too quickly.
Okay. So. Well, now we'll definitely be slowing it down in practical accuracy. Practical accuracy is 5 shots from 7 yards on a 1-inch square. We like this target because 1-inch square at 7 yards tends to be about the same breadth as a front sight post. I did just notice that this BUL Armory fiber optic front is a little bit narrower than that. We got nice light on either side. It should make for good aiming. I just got to do my part. Not too bad.
My turn for 5 shots, 7 yards. I just flinched so hard trying to remember to change my grip.
After shots with the BUL Armory EDC, I've got to admit, I personally did not perform as well as I expected to, because I looked at this and said, oh, it's just the new thing of the SAS2 TAC 4 1/4 that I carried and have taken to courses and things like that. But it's still a different gun. And I think we've seen proof here that especially when there's hand fitment, they're all slightly different. This also isn't nearly as broken in. It's got, I don't know, a 10th, a 20th of the rounds through it that my carry gun has. So I've got to relearn the gun. The gun itself, spectacular. That trigger is right there and ready. The sights are excellent. Yes, it is a red dot ready, comes with the 3 plates. We'll put a dot on one of the new BULs for a future video. That's right, there's more than just this one coming. Texture, excellent. Trigger, great. Sights, great. Everything was familiar to me, especially after running that other one. It's just a slightly different gun that I'm going to need to get time with to get my peak performance back out of it. That, and I don't like the heat, and it's hot.
And there you have it. So my overall impressions are I want a lot more time with this gun. this has so much potential for me, but it's a platform, not a platform, but it is a design that requires more practice. The trigger is not for the faint of heart. The sights are, in my opinion, as good as a red dot would be with being able to track your target focus. I really enjoy that. Where I was having problems before is my thumb is shorter than some. So, and I've become accustomed to resting on these little gas pedal things to drive the front down. And I can't do that with this because I was catching the slide just enough to keep it from locking open. So that would require me to have more practice in my grip. Another issue with reach for me was that this is a little bit short. The mag release is a little bit short for me. I do have to adjust my grip to drop that mag, which is fine, but it's going to, if this was a fun gun, it would reduce my speed. But it's not. It has the safety, which is an awesome option, and the grip safety also. Love it. I just really want more time with it. I really do. I don't have anything negative to say about it, but I really want some more time with it to understand and just love it some more.
And Tia, your commentary I think is spot on, and something that a lot of folks, and we saw it at the Guardian conference, need to be aware of, and that is the 1911 design and platform in general requires its own manual of arms. So there are some things to work around. The reach to the magazine release and reach to the slide lock, even on single stacks, is difficult for some people. And there's other techniques, using your left hand instead of your right hand, and
right,
things like that. And that's something that, with the popularity of double stack 1911s, I don't think a lot of people have done justice to inform others that, like, you're going to have to learn some things.
Well, and one thing that BUL has done that makes that a little more possible and realistic for me, if I was to have more time, is this double undercut is deep enough in the right spot. I can get up high enough so it doesn't change my grip as drastically as some other 1911 styles would. So that's a huge benefit in being able to get my hand up there in that narrowest part. Like I said, I'm really impressed. Texture's awesome. It's varied in the spots that it needs to be varied. Blah, blah, blah. I'm really impressed. Thanks for letting me shoot this.
And if you've got questions about full specs, all that, the deeper dive review will be over at gbgunsdepot.com. Check the pinned comment or just go to that website. Better yet, sign up for the email notification, and then you would have seen this video probably a few weeks, if not a few months, before everyone else. Thanks for watching.